All right, very good morning to you, Bore da. You've had assembly yesterday with Mrs. Cleve, so I'm back in the chair this morning for assembly. I hope you enjoyed the eco yesterday. Lots of valuable messages for you. And today I'm back out on tour with my assembly. And if I was to get a little bit out of the way, you can see that year 5 I am taking assembly um, from today. So I hope you enjoy it. And it's about really, it links with the school's motto. And I want you to think what the school's motto is. Have a think. You should all know it's all different, all equal. And the story today is about being different. And as I always say to you, if everybody was the same, if everybody looked the same, if everybody had the same colour hair, the same colour skin, wore the same clothes, or had the same interests, or the same hobbies, or like the same football teams, or like the same music or books, life would be a really boring place. So being different is good. Enjoying different things, looking different, being a different type of character is really, really something to celebrate. And we shall hear about that this morning, where some people are different and perhaps they could have had a better understanding or appreciate that people are different and things might have been a little bit different in the story. Melise and Sarah had been friends since reception, and now, finding themselves in the summer months of year 4, they were still very good friends. Everywhere they went together. They enjoyed a lot of the same hobbies, and they would often spend lunchtimes playing hide and seek or chase. Both girls had other friends too, and they were in different groups for maths and literacy sessions. Melise had a younger sister called Aisha, who adored her big sister. When she started at the same school as Melise, she liked nothing more than to run over to her in the playground at break times to give her a hug, have a chat, and sometimes play with her. Melise too was pleased to see her younger sister in the playground every day and would often watch out for her, checking that she was playing nicely and always had people to play with. Although very good friends, Melise and Sarah were very different in the way they behaved and in the way they dealt with situations. According to their class teacher, Sarah was a natural leader and enjoyed being the person responsible for her group when it came to class discussions, group work, and presentations. She was a good decision maker and would often lead the way in deciding how her group should work. Taking on a motherly role, Sarah also enjoyed looking after younger children and ensuring they were in the right place at the right time. Melise, on the other hand, couldn't be more different. She was a shy, timid girl who was a typical follower. She was always happy to sit back and let the other children answer the questions and didn't like to take part in drama or role play. She kept her emotions deep inside her and didn't often talk about her feelings. Melise was happy to play any of the games that her friends had chosen and was always pleased to follow them to where they wanted to sit at lunchtime. With her younger sister now in school, Melise had 2 key people to play with at break times, Sarah and her sister Aisha. But this wasn't easy for Melise, and the reason for this was that Sarah was not a fan of Melise's younger sister. In fact, she disliked her a great deal. One day, Aisha came running over to Melise and Sarah, who were playing nicely by the climbing frame, and asked if she could join them. Melise looked over at Sarah with a questioning look, and with that, Sarah shrugged her shoulders, placed her hands on her sides, and walked off. Melise smiled at her younger sister before saying, "Maybe later you go and play with your friends," and then ran over to where Sarah had stopped to watch. Sarah didn't look too pleased with Melise and made it difficult for her to start the game again. Eventually, Melise apologised to Sarah and they went off to play. The week went on, and on Friday, Melise and Sarah were playing a game of run-outs in the playground when Aisha came over to see her sister. "Hi, Melise, what are you playing?" she asked politely. Suddenly Sarah interrupted and said, "None of your business. Leave Melise alone. You can't play. Just go away." Aisha became upset and looked to her older sister, who did nothing but look at Sarah. Melise watched her younger sister walk off in tears. "When will she get the message? We don't want to play with her," said Sarah, as she took Melise's arm and walked off towards the sandpit. The following week, Aisha was celebrating her 6th birthday, and she was so excited. The sisters sat at their breakfast table as their mum served up a special birthday treat especially for Aisha. "Thanks, Mum," said Aisha. "Melise, can I play with you today? It is my birthday." Melise thought for a moment and replied, "Yes, sure, it'll be great. We can play hide and seek together." This made Aisha even happier on her birthday. Lunchtime came, and as promised, Aisha came over to Melise ready to play their game. After a few minutes, Sarah came over to see what Melise was doing. "I didn't say you could play together," she shouted in Melise's direction. "Wait here, I'll go and talk to her," said Melise to her little sister. Melise walked over to where Sarah was standing and explained that it was Aisha's birthday and she would quite like to play with her today. "Fine, go and play then," Sarah shouted. Melise felt scared inside. She didn't know what to do. Sarah scared her, and she felt that if she played with Aisha, she would lose Sarah's friendship forever, and Sarah might be nasty to her. By now, Aisha had joined Melise and Sarah by the fence. "Come on, Melise, let's play, like you promised," said the birthday girl. Melise felt even more uncomfortable, not knowing which way to turn. She felt herself enraged inside, and her stomach rolled over 3 times. She felt nervous. What should she do? Well, what do you think Melise did, and why? She looked at Sarah and then back at Aisha, and with Sarah stepping forward towards her and feeling pressured to make a decision, Melise leant forward and pushed her sister over. Within seconds, a crowd had formed. "Fight, fight, fight," they shouted. Sarah realised what had happened and ran after Melise, who was now running away in tears. Once they'd been taken inside by a teacher, Sarah and Melise were asked to sit down and tell their teacher what had happened. Melise sat next to Sarah, found it difficult to talk. "Tell me, Melise, what happened out there?" asked their teacher, Mr. Royce. Mr. Royce asked Sarah to wait outside so that he could speak to Melise on her own first. Once Sarah had left the room, Melise began to speak. "Mr. Royce, I feel trapped and scared by Sarah," she began. "But she's your best friend, Melise." "How do you mean?" asked the teacher. "She makes me feel scared. She is always telling me what to do and not letting me decide what to do for myself," said Melise. "Have you told her this?" said Mr. Royce. "I'm too frightened to speak to her about it. I'm afraid that she'll be nasty to me. I know she doesn't really get on with my little sister, but she has come between my sister and I don't like it," said Melise. "What would you like to say to Sarah if you could?" asked Mr. Royce. "I'd like to say, Sarah, I still want to be your friend, but I don't like the way you make me feel sometimes," said Melise. With that, Mr. Royce asked Sarah to come into the room and asked Melise to leave. "Sarah, how do you think you are different from Melise?" asked Mr. Royce. "Melise is quieter than me," suggested Sarah calmly. "Yes, what else?" asked Mr. Royce. "Well, I'm not sure," said Sarah. "Sarah, you are both very different to one another. You are a leader and you like to be in charge, and Melise is the opposite. She is very happy to follow you and play your games and do what you want to do. Can't you see that?" asked Mr. Royce. Sarah thought for a moment and replied, "Yes, I can." "You always make the decisions, telling Melise what to do and where she can go and what she can play," Mr. Royce went on. Sarah nodded. "But I didn't know," she said. "Exactly, it's not your fault, Sarah. Melise has never told you how she feels because she is scared that you will not be friends with her anymore," said Mr. Royce. Well, I'll always be Malise's friend, said Sarah quickly. Let's bring Malise in now, shall we? Asked Mr. Royce. Malise entered the room and sat down again. Girls, let me summarise what I think has happened here. You are both and always have been the best of friends. You, however, are very different from each other. Sarah is a leader and Malise is a follower. This works well for both, as Sarah enjoys making decisions and Malise enjoys joining in and is happy to sit back and let others lead the way. The girls nodded and Mr. Royce continued. This all changed when Aisha, Malise's younger sister, arrived at our school. And Sarah, you saw this as a threat. You felt that if Malise's sister plays with you both, you lose Malise as a friend. Again Sarah nodded. But Malise never told you how she was really feeling. Instead, she found it easier to leave her sister out, and in the end, be very nasty to her sister. And it even got physical today when she pushed her over, said Mr. Royce. If you could both set targets for yourselves, what would they be? Asked Mr. Royce. What have you learnt from this? Sarah started. I need to get better at letting Malise go with other friends. What else? Asked Mr. Royce. I need to get better at not telling other children what to do, said Sarah. How about you, Malise? Asked Mr. Royce. I need to get better at telling Sarah how I really feel instead of keeping it inside, said Malise. I also need to try my best to become stronger, to say no to Sarah and play with other children, she added. And so Malise and Sarah went away realising that we are all different. And sometimes this can cause problems, just like it did for her and Sarah and, of course, Aisha. With their new targets at the front of their minds, both girls sat off to enjoy the rest of their playtime together. Well, as we heard in today's story, being different is what makes us special. And sometimes people have different personalities and it might be difficult for us to understand that. Sarah was quite nasty to Malise in the story today, and she didn't want to lose her friend and saw Aisha, her younger sister, as a threat. This was very difficult for someone with Sarah's personality. Malise found the situation very difficult because she did not have the confidence to stand up for her sister against Sarah and didn't have the confidence to tell Sarah how she was really feeling. Mr. Royce spoke to them both at the end of the story and helped them to set targets and get on better. So, think about it. Set yourself some targets, perhaps work on some of the things that you know you could work on. Appreciate that everybody's personality is different. Find ways to get along with everybody. And always remember the school motto. All different, all equal. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I know I enjoyed the story. We'll have another one tomorrow. But today we will finish with our school prayer. We always say, Un Dau Tri. This is our school. Let peace dwell here. Let the rooms be full of contentment. Let love abide here. Love for one another and love for life itself. Let our school be a lovely place where all of us are caring to each other, to work our best and show our smiling face, staff and children helping one another today and always. And as we say at the end of assembly, I shall see you tomorrow. Over and out.